House Republicans are making a big show of holding the economy hostage by refusing to raise the debt ceiling because they did it once before, 12 years ago, and it worked. Back in 2011, a newly empowered Republican House refused to raise the debt ceiling and were able to negotiate nearly $1 trillion in spending cuts. And those cuts, to be clear, hurt working people in this country. They slowed down an economic recovery, putting many in very dire straits. And now, after an unprecedented era of dislocation over the last few years caused by the coronavirus pandemic and its aftermath, we currently have very low unemployment, job growth growing, and inflation crucially slowing, which is to say real wages starting to tick up. As clear skies are finally starting to appear over the horizon, Republicans are threatening to start a crisis again. So what would that mean for working people in this country? Someone who's made that question a focal point of his decades-long career in Washington, including a speech from the Capitol today on the state of the working class. Senator Bernie Sanders, independent Vermont senator, welcome. Senator, I want to start with the history here. I think when you look in retrospect at the recovery from the great financial crisis, that period of austerity and enforced spending cuts, the sequester after 2011, really did appreciably hurt the recovery, hurt working people, hurt wage growth and job growth during that period. Are you thinking about that as you think about this next year?
The answer is yes. And what I'm also thinking about, Chris, is we live in a moment in history where we have more wealth and income inequality in America today than perhaps ever in the history of this country. 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half. We have a working class today where weekly wages adjusted for inflation for the average American worker is lower than it was 50 years ago. You got millions of people working for starvation wages, 10, 11, 12 bucks an hour. So clearly what we have got to do in Congress is have the courage to stand up to powerful corporate interests and their lobbyists and start working for working families, not just the 1%.
When you say the working class, how do you define that term? How do you think about it?
I think it is the vast majority of the American people, maybe significantly brown and black disproportionately, but it is tens and tens of millions of people. And I got to tell you something, Chris, we don't talk about those people anywhere near enough. We don't talk about the fact that life expectancy for working class people is going down. And the gap between how long wealthy people live and working people live is just very, very wide. We don't talk about the fact 85 million Americans have no health insurance. People can't afford prescription drugs. And I think we have got to start focusing on the majority of the American people are working class, middle class, lower income people. It is quite unbelievable. You got 18 million families in America who spend 50% of their limited incomes on housing. How do you survive on that? How do you survive on 14 bucks an hour? Those are the issues we got to start focusing on.
I want to follow up on something you just said, because this is something I've been really focused on recently. Many of the trends you're describing, whether it's wage stagnation or growing inequality, are true for decades, right? They sort of can move up and down depending on what's going on at that period, but the general trends. One of those, though, is a product of 2015 on, and that's the drop in life expectancy. The U.S. is undergoing a drop in life expectancy, particularly disproportionately located in working and poor folks. That's basically unlike anything. I mean, COVID is a huge part of that. We've seen it in other rich countries, but what's happening in the U.S. is unlike anywhere else. And it strikes me as bizarre that this central statistical fact about the country isn't an urgent matter of policy debate in Washington across the political spectrum, that people are dying earlier, that the whole point of having a flourishing society is to give people longer lives.
Chris, you're absolutely right, and you have to read my book. It's coming out in a month or so. We got several chapters on that issue. But here is the point. How does it happen that despite spending almost twice as much per capita on healthcare as the people of other industrialized nations, our life expectancy is lower and getting worse? And as you point out, it is getting really bad for low-income and working-class people. And what the doctors tell us, and I've studied this issue a bit, is we're looking at what they call diseases of despair. When people are going nowhere in their lives, they can't afford health care and education, their kids are worse off, they turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they turn to even suicide. So you're right, this is an issue of enormous consequence, which we should be discussing and working on a lot more.
Is there a single policy you can imagine improving life for folks, working people in this country in the year 2023 that could pass the Republican House?
I would hope, I've seen polls where Republicans regard the high cost of prescription drugs as a major, major concern. I would hope that Republicans and Democrats could come together to take on the greed of the pharmaceutical industry, who in some cases are charging us 10 times more for the same exact drugs as sold in Canada and other countries. I would also hope that while I know we're not going to pass a Medicare for all system, which I would like to see, at least maybe we could expand primary health care all over this country so that every American can get to a doctor when he or she needs to do that.